Welcome back, Game 4 of the Royal League. This upcoming game is against pv4, who has started with 1 win against Raffaello and 2 losses against Martin Pischer and Gross. And yeah, let's go right into the game. This one's an interesting one. This is a game with some unusual, not so standard stuff happening, and a close finish. So let's look at the start, because the start is already interesting, I think. pv4 decides to take the urban growth here. So doesn't want to settle for Hippocrates, Colosseum, or Ashoka. Probably looking at Sun Tzu. Let's look at this Leaders and Wonders list. There's a Suez Canal. There's Cook, Eleanor, Columbus. So just these things alone make Sun Tzu a very good leader. And I definitely considered just taking him. But I also thought, if there's a good Colosseum game, then it's this game. The Colosseum gives the extra red cube, Epiphase, and it synergizes with any leader here, really, with Columbus, Barbarossa, Eleanor. So I decided to give it a go, to try out the Colosseum here. Because I can also on top take a reasonable leader. If I take Sun Tzu for 2, he gets the EG also on 1. I mean, like this, he also gets it on 1, but I don't know. It felt like he has a pretty good start then. And I don't really know what my second turn is going to be. He's probably getting a Stonehenge. I thought maybe it's not the best set of late wonders. So only if the Forbidden City drops early, then I'm kind of happy, and all the other wonders I'm not that happy, I think. So yeah, I thought if there's a Colosseum game, then it's this one, and then on top I get Hippocrates. So I decided to give it a try. pv4 indeed does go for Sun Tzu, takes the EG, and can go for a wonder next turn. Rome Roads and Hanging Gardens also still dropped. That would also have been maybe an option for me if I didn't go for Colosseum. But I wouldn't take it for 3, obviously. But the row would be different then. Yeah, could have been an option. But I decided to go for this. I elect Hippocrates, build the mine, standard turn. Take the frugality as last civil action. pv4 seeds, development of warfare revealed. He cannot take it. I could take it, and I already have the Legion in hand, so probably will. He also goes for a pretty standard turn here with the... He started with the philosophy last turn, now builds his mine, takes the Roman roads, which is probably the best one of these ones. Plays EG. And yeah, not gonna lie, I mean, I skipped a bit over the last turn, but I think Eleanor is so strong in this game with the Suez Canal, Cook, with all the setup. I actually, during the game, considered taking her for 3 and making a somewhat awkward turn. Just take her, not elect Hippocrates, build a mine. But I decided against it because there's also other good leaders like Barbarossa, Columbus. And Barbarossa, I mention him because he's also good for colonization, right? He can rebuild stuff very efficiently, send armies very efficiently for crucial colonies. Yeah, so I decided not to take her for 3, but now I'm willing to take her here. So I think she's pretty good in this game. p4 reveals development of agriculture, finishes the Rome roads, and takes Barbarossa in hand. And now let's take a look. I had the good harvest in hand, and I don't know if I'm willing to seed this here against the Barbarossa, and I am not. Also, next turn I might be willing, if I don't draw anything else, I might be willing to seed it, but we will see. Take the breakthrough, swordsman, don't want to play this without any military tech. And the printing press actually in hand. The extra happy face helps a bit with building a printing press, and also it's also a good printing press game with Darwin here. And Gaudi. I decide to put the Legion out there. I almost fulfill it anyway. I have the Swordsman, and it's very likely that he has just some other tactic, so he will go for something else anyway. It's nice for the case that if he has strength events in there or starts a strength push, that I have some tactic. It meant not drawing another green card, but I will then also be willing to just play the Good Harvest. It's too valuable to seed with Eleanor. And 2 colonization cards is already quite nice to have. pv4 reveals development of markets, populates a bunch, reveals medieval army tactic, elects Barbarossa, and goes for it at once, and goes to 6 strength like that. Didn't take Code of Laws on, even for 1 civil action. That's kind of interesting. I was a bit sad there were too many cards here. I could not realistically also not don't have abundant signs. I could really not realistically take Code of Laws for 2, and he even decides not to take it for 1 civil action here. It's a bit interesting. But it also didn't fit for him, and he wanted those knights out. Understandable. Very efficient now with Sun Tzu into Barbarossa. That's actually very powerful. I indeed do see the food thing. Even though it might be a bit better for him, I wanted an event there. I want to use Eleanor. So even if it's maybe a bit better for him, I think in total it should be correct. And I immediately got rewarded for it. I have drawn this vast territory, and the immigration was... Wait, how did that happen? Because I also revealed the development of politics. It must have happened, right? Yes. That gave me the vast territory. Eleanor Dorgo gave me the immigration. That's how it happened. And yeah, I indeed go for the printing press here. I would love to take this Forbidden City, but that turn always means corruption. Spending 3 civil actions here. So I rather go for this printing press and make sure it stays here, and hope that I can take it next turn. Draw foray, and now I have in hand Immigration Rebellion, which is quite nice with the extra happy face and the foray. 3 colonization cards in hand. He might have also just played a colony. I mean, he's Sun Tzu in first position. He can expect, if one of his first events is a colony, he can expect to be well set up for it with the extra draws. And now with this empowered medieval army, if he has a high impact colony, he can also just bid quite a lot for it. So having all those colonization cards already is quite nice. I actually didn't keep the vast territory here, which is interesting. Apparently I valued, though, for the reasons I told, that there might just be a colony in there. I valued keeping those. And then the immigration is a safer bet than this vast territory. Here, he, again, for the reason of his important medieval army, he's able to bid quite a lot for this vast territory. So also not knowing whether I will be able to go for cartography or navigation, I decided, that it's a bit too swingy to put this vast or to keep the vast territory. So I kept the solid value in hand. pv4 seeds and reveals the Good Harvest. Use Barbarossa, and it immediately enables him to use Barbarossa again, putting out another army. And then with his with his first 3 civil actions, he just takes the Forbidden City, which is a lot of value for him. And as we see, he even has enough rocks to just build it next turn. I think in the end, his start is a lot better than mine. But I have things going for me as well. Mainly Eleanor. And yeah, we will see how this turns out. His strength push is quite annoying. It's hard to deal with. And indeed, there is a weighted territory, and he's willing only to bid a knight. He's not willing to bid a pair, and apparently doesn't even have, or just a warrior and a card. But apparently he doesn't have abundant colonization cards. So I get that, which is pretty nice, just for a warrior. And decide to bid 2 swordsmen. It actually helps me defend. There, Colosseum comes into play. I have 2 defense cards, and this is already defense. I can take the EG, the urban growth in hand. The EG especially maybe for the Suez Canal relevant if I still... Now I've already drawn a card. If I can still make that work, that will be a good option for me. And this EG helps build that quite nicely. And we have the... Did we draw the strategic territory? No, we have drawn it with the Eleanor draw. And on top of that, another colonization card. Which means it's, yeah, now we've already seen 4 of those, which makes it, after that information reveal, more likely that he indeed didn't have that many colonization cards. Maybe even didn't, had some at some point, but didn't want to keep them, wanted to keep other events. Yeah, many options there. Colonization cards are here. pv4 seeds, and the Reign of Terror is revealed. Of course, some strength events are to be expected there. There's nothing I can realistically do about it to contest that. And it's an annoying one since I don't have a free population and it wasn't really possible. Maybe I could have been a bit greedy and not build this and just say, okay, if you have an aggression, then play the aggression. But I think it's more or less reasonable to build this, go into defense range, and then hope that it's not maybe one of the worst in this situation. If you don't have a free pop, this Reign of Terror somehow really hurts here. And yeah, there was also no real way for me to take this Masonry for 2, I think. I did consider it, but it felt wrong. Don't have a lot of signs. Don't have a project for the Masonry right now, maybe somewhat late in the future. Just means that he gets it. Also not that much science. Yeah, but this is a quite nice turn for him to go for this Masonry and just build this Forbidden City. He could have built it also without it, would be the same turn, but now he has this already in hand or in play. Takes the drama on top. I do cede the strategic territory and lose the uncertain borders, which is also pretty annoying. Maybe, yeah, those were probably the 2 most annoying strength events that could have happened. But yeah, it is to be expected after the Sun Tzu start that he has annoying strength events here. And we have the bug. I'm not willing to wait 30 seconds, but this should put us in the right position. Good that I found out that I can just press this here and don't have to go to the menu every time. So yeah, we did cede the strategic territory, uncertain borders reveal, and this is a bit annoying. And to be honest, if I remember correctly, I kind of forgot, it happens sometimes, that I also have this still. I thought I don't really have a turn if I don't play this Theocracy. I maybe would have, but I think it's still correct to play this Theocracy in this situation. Set up for a revolution. I also want to play those empowered medieval armies. Also for building, also for having some strength potential into H3, into H2, I mean. Not falling too much behind, but maybe I can even get stronger. And yeah, here I actually did think, okay, I lose 2 and I don't have a turn if I don't take Theocracy into revolution. And there's still an immigration here. So the plan was a bit to go for this revolution, reveal the immigration, build another knight, and then I'm actually stronger than him. And it's not so easy for him to... I mean, it's possible, but it's not... he would have to do something to get then stronger again. It's a bit unclear if he still had some other strength events, but still, I think it's a reasonable plan with this theocracy. I am at 21 plus 1 culture, so I've got this culture engine, quote unquote, going with Eleanor, and am creating a bit of a lead here in that regard. And all the other, like this economy is similarly bad for both of us. He does have this wonder and the masonry, so I would say he's ahead here. Barbarossa has also done a lot of work. He has 2 guys, and I'm more tightly knit here. I have this printing press, so I'm kind of ready for Darwin, maybe Gaudi. But maybe that's also not worth that much in the setup. So yeah, we will see how valuable that can still be in a few turns. Did draw the new deposits, and with Eleanor, I'm definitely going to see that. Crusades revealed, so there's this strength event. pv4 takes iron. I didn't really have the time nor the science to take that. Even for one, I think it was even on one selection. And takes cultural heritage. Builds a warrior. With Barbarossa or without? Yeah, with Barbarossa. And here I was reminded, I indeed did have an extra, so it wasn't mandatory, this theocracy turn, but I think it's still good. It's still correct. And here my first draw is insanely good, the inhabited territory 2. I already have a territory that I can go for with the Suez Canal. Just this wealthy plus inhabited makes it already very good. And I still go for this revolution, obviously. Justice system stays on 3. It is disputed. I can't imagine him paying 3 for this with this setup. And that means I might get it for 2 next turn. And I indeed go for the knight. So at least if there's another nasty event, like border conflict would still be annoying, of course. Call to arms would be extremely annoying. And even the foray would be nice. Yeah, let's see. Does he see it? Does he react? He can get stronger, obviously. He takes irrigation for 2. It's the last copy. I don't have one, but I already have this, so not that afraid. There's also an ocean liner. Takes irrigation for 2. Plays cultural heritage. Upgrades a farm. Uses Barbarossa to go for another knight and goes to 18 strength. And now here, yeah, I seeded the non-inhabited territory event. Now I sadly couldn't glimpse what it was. Something neutral? Or was it a happiness-related thing? Was it civil unrest or something? Maybe something like that. So yeah, I want to have that in hand for now, and hope to go to get the Suez Canal and keep that option in hand. Why do I have 4 MA here? Ah yeah, of course, theocracy. That's also nice. More cards I can hold. And already have drawn 2 H2 colonization cards, so Eleanor doing her thing. And this turn is pretty difficult. So there's a republic, which is always very high impact. But I've kind of committed to this theocracy for now. I can't really get rid of it because I lose that happy face and I don't have that extra population yet. But it might still be just the best turn to take it. On the other hand, he could just get the Conmon after this, and the Conmon is in his position better anyway. He also wants some MA to also leverage his strength potential into some aggressive potential, because without extra military actions, that's non-existent. And yeah, if I go for Republic for 3, he just takes Justice System Breakthrough. And if he gets the Conmon then, or even just the strategy, he is so far ahead. I really cannot pay 3 civil actions for this Republic here. yeah, on combined with that argument that I'm more or less not able to play it. I would have to dispense something. And then there's Iron here. It is very late Irons, the literally last card of H1. We are already in the second turn of H2 here. But it would enable me to, but I could take it and upgrade twice. No corruption, but then no signs. I would be stuck on 4 MA, and I don't know for how long. And so I made a very tough decision here. And this is the turn. Justice system. First of all, barbarians. Oh yeah, I lose another population, which is not that good. I have to disband a mine. I don't know what else I would disband here. I mean, now that argument, now the Republic thing would be possible, but I still think it's. Yeah, maybe that makes it closer. I already had to disband something anyway. But I still think if I leave Breakthrough Justice System and then he gets Conmon, he's just super ahead. So I decide to just take Breakthrough and Justice System here. And yes, as sad as it seems, I think it is the correct call here. This Breakthrough has insane value if we are on +3 and +2 science here. And this Justice System is just mandatory for my civilization to be playable. So yeah, it's corruption, it's no iron, and it's a bit of an all-in for the Suez Canal, I would say. If I get that Suez Canal, and if I also I'm still digging, right, with Eleanor for a possible autonomous territory, then it's playable. Then it's playable. And I think my alternatives here, just going for iron, staying on 4 MA, I think that's worse. And this Republic thing, I think it's also worse. So, yeah. But tough spot to be in. Honestly, I thought, okay, that's not looking too great if I have to do something like this. But I'm somewhat lucky here. I indeed do find the autonomous. So then there's a ray of hope again to stay in the game. And we also see, yeah, pv4 seeds reveals the strategic territory, is building to bid 6. Looks a bit like a pair, which he can easily afford. But I happily have all those colonization cards and can just win this important territory with the swordsman. It's important, of course. I mean, I have good cards. I've had good cards already, but the draw is still not irrelevant. The 2 strength are not irrelevant, but especially he hasn't drawn cards yet in H2, or not that many. So his draw would be a little more sad for me, because like this I can hope that he hasn't found a colony yet. And if he reveals that if he wins that strategic territory, he has all of a sudden 3 extra cards drawn, then yeah, the chances that he finds a colony in order to go for the Suez Canal just as a deny play, more or less. If he has one decent colony, it's already a decent decision to just take it for himself and not leave it for me. So nice to deny that draw from him. He rebuilds, or doesn't rebuild, he builds a knight with Barbarossa, uses him one last time, has given a ton of value here with the Forbidden City. It's all very, very coherent. Everything he did was super coherent so far. And goes for Gaudi. I'm getting Gaudi flashbacks from my game against Weidenbaum. That guy can create a ton of value, as we have seen. And already here, we see the potential, I think. Just one drama, and he's on a decent culture income, and then he can still go for those scientific methods coming in and for journalisms. And yeah, I think if I had to choose, it's not actually that clear, because I have these territories. I have drawn this autonomous territory. I think this is a visual bug here, by the way, for now, not seeing this autonomous. I'm pretty certain I didn't have even the opportunity to play it. Gets the Republic now. Yeah, he's looking good. But I do think that this position is also playable. And depending on the Suez Canal timing, and if I get it, and so on, it's actually um, not that clear who is ahead, even. Even though I made it sound, or at first glance, I also think this is probably the better position, but this is also playable. This is also playable. So, okay, let's see how it goes on. He goes for the drama. He skips the first can, interestingly, but it's also not such an important tech, I guess, and maybe a good decision just to skip it because, okay, there's this. That's basically an H2 tactic, so almost. So yeah, but skip the can as the Republican hand is set up for a revolution, possibly. It's an option at least. I draw, now we see the autonomous in hand. Historic territory reveals, also one of his, he seeded that, apparently? Yeah, or maybe I just missed it, but I think he seeded that. And I don't have that many, I don't have any defense cards. He wins it, but he has to pay a pair, so he is, yeah, this is the downside of his civilization. The one thing that he lacked maybe was the lack of military action, so he hasn't drawn a colonization card. But he hasn't also drawn that many cards. Yeah, he used Barbarossa a lot, so it is a bit to be expected. Maybe a bit unlucky. I don't want to calculate that. My gut feeling is it's kind of expected with the amount of draws that he has. Maybe one, but more likely 0 colonization cards drawn. So he has to send a pair, which alleviates a lot of pressure. It's kind of nice. Maybe he didn't want that. Maybe he wanted that. I mean, the happy face. It's not that relevant. I think I'm pretty happy actually that he won that for a pair. I'm actually very happy with that. I do take navigation with all those colonies. You already see I have drawn the autonomous, so I was immediately willing also to cede this inhabited territory. I'm still a bit yeah, my economy sucks. I have nothing more or less in my economy, and I need some plan to fix it at some point. So that inhabited territory is one of those plans. Navigation in hand and the breakthrough for 3, also just a super important card here. pv4 reveals the new deposits. I seeded that at some point, and it's better for him, obviously. And he doesn't go for the revolution, he goes for scientific method. And that's, I think, a pretty reasonable decision. Some +7 science now. Comes together very nicely here with the 1 science discount from Gaudi and the new deposits and the masonry, and he can very efficiently build those scientific methods, and then he doesn't have to go for the revolution. He can just develop the republic. Okay, he could still just go for the revolution next turn, but he could also develop it like this with an income of 7. It's very doable. And can also just upgrade an iron still. Doesn't bother with rifleman, doesn't bother with cavalryman, and yeah, it's maybe a bit greedy, but feels very correct to not bother with them too much with this. You're kind of safe. This tactic and then just air forces, and you're more or less covered in the 2-player game. I see it. Court Arms is revealed, and I was very sad to see that, because there's a Suez Canal in a row, and I thought, oh no! Because I think I would have just taken it for 4. But now I don't really remember. Also, if you think about it a little more closely, maybe you already need to win some bets in this game state, and say we kind of have to hope that he hasn't drawn a colony. We've also seen the highest impact colonies, inhabited, autonomous, vast. At least those. And also, I think it actually would still be possible, thanks to Eleanor, to take Darwin and then Suez Canal. The buck. But I'm not certain if I do this. I don't remember. Let's see. I think it's still possible. It would have been, yeah, 4 civil actions, but it would mean corruption. And like this, populate, just build a printing press, high value with this Darwin. And we also just need some science income. And take the architecture for 2. A bit of an interesting decision. Yeah, I mean, I can still just go for it. Yeah, okay. It's a good decision, actually. It would save me some civil actions at once, and it will enable me to compete in the urban building game. And it's also just 1 civil action here, not to forget. Thanks to Darwin. So I do think that's correct. That's a good choice, actually. And then I take the second copy of cannons. I think I already have a tactic here, mobile artillery, or even fortification. I think this cannon here in the left top corner, we can check it, is mobile artillery. Yes. So he doesn't have a tech, an artillery tech, and I do have that 1 copy now. And my last selection, what would be the alternative? The cavalryman, patriotism too expensive, and not enough civil actions. Could take opera maybe, could take scientific method, all look a little unrealistic. I already have swordsman, wild rifleman, so I do go for those cannon. Maybe there will be an option actually to be aggressive with this, because I already have 2 knights here. Yeah. I think this can make sense. Yeah, paying 4 civil actions for Suez, I think, was not really an option. He could take it now. If he has a colony, he could take it, and then it looks a bit bad, but on the other hand, if he takes it, then I can not imagine him taking both of those. And even if he does, he pays so much that maybe I have counterplay even if he denies both Suez and coal. Because yeah, what I wanted to say, if he takes Suez and doesn't take the coal, then I just go for that, I think, 2 upgrades, and it's playable. So would he deny both and spend his entire turn for that, more or less? Maybe possible, but then he has again really paid a lot, I think, and then you also have counterplay, I think. Could also just go for the Harvard, actually. It's also a lot of value for me here. This EG proves to be very important, and shout out to Justice System and the Wealthy Territory making this playable at all, with all those bronze rocks lying around here. If I didn't have that, would be totally unplayable. So looking back at that horrible turn where I had corruption on +2 and took Justice System and breakthrough, I would say that was definitely the correct call. And yeah, this is playable. Like, look, even if he has this counterplay now, even if he denies it, I think we are in the game. It's not totally unplayable. 44 +6, and we do have some rocks, even if it's +2, and we fixed our science income a bit, and maybe there's some potential to at some point go for another printing press. It's playable. Let's see if he takes it. So it indeed was a civil unrest, that event, that first one in H2. And we do see the revolution, actually. So he doesn't want to bother, but probably just has no colony. Even if he had one, we've seen an extra one now, vast territory. I think there's a developed territory still. It's a bit sad that this doesn't work like in the game, where I see what was in my hand, what's in my hand. So maybe we even saw that. I'm not certain. There's not that many territories left, that's for certain. Even if he had one, I'm not... Yeah, I guess if he had one, he would take the Suez. I guess. Probably means he had none. No territory. Okay. Now, we didn't even see it. Because there are territories and I still want the navigation in. I start with this architecture and the plan is to go for then the Suez Canal, obviously. All comes together pretty nicely here with the architecture. Can play EG, develop, build, finish the Suez Canal, play autonomous, take science, and then still develop the navigation. And that's a nice turn. And all of a sudden, most of our problems are, yeah, not fixed, but alleviated. And this is very playable. I mean, yeah, some RNG my way, but I will always repeat, Eleanor kind of. I think with Eleanor, it's more or less expected what's happening here with the amount of draws. Yeah, again, sadly we don't see the amount of cards I've drawn, but I've drawn, I think, more than half of the entire deck. Or roughly half of the entire deck. Well, I think actually more. So at least when H2 is over, maybe not until this point, but when H2 is over, I remember looking at this and seeing like probably more than half of all those cards. So that's the power of Eleanor. There was also a strategic territory, right? And yeah, this is definitely playable. I'm now not that certain who's ahead. He does have this Republic going for him. Civil actions are just insanely good. And he has 7 now, 8 with Forbidden City. And it was obviously not realistic to deny the strategy. That was impossible. So he's getting that with a good science income. So he has a very good combination here with Republic strategy. A good leader. So yeah, looking good. But for me, playable. Harvard College does have the rocks for that, goes to 10 science income, and Harvard College especially nice with a lot of civil actions because you it increases the military potential. It increases the value of possible turns by a lot because he's also always easily able to take any yellow card for even 3 civil actions and play it. So when calculating wars, or generally when calculating opponent turns, when he has this Harvard College and abundant civil actions, it's way harder to, or the potential of those turns gets just way higher, and he's got that going for him also. So yeah, the good things keep happening on this side of the silver, but for both. This inhabited territory revealed, he wins that for 10, but he has to spend 2 knights, a warrior, and a colonization card. So considering that there are more colonies coming, I think that's a fair price. And here, I still don't have my food fixed, and the inhabited territory just happened. So I decide to go for this ocean liner. Actually, it's very late, but is the Sarret is still the last card there in the back? If I remember correctly, there's no yellow cube colonies in there, or is there a vast still in there? I don't know. I think it would also still be very good for him. He could also just, it's one of the examples of what I was talking about. He could just take the EG, and finish it. That means if I don't take it, I need to take this EG, but then I have an EG2 without planning to build a wonder. And it's a bit unclear if I can still spend it in H3. So I do miss out on a lot of cards here. But in the end, I thought it's still correct to take it. I just built 3 stages to get out of corruption, can finish it next turn. Tough call, but yeah, if I don't take it, he just takes and finishes it with this EG. And I didn't want to. He goes for journalism. Builds journalism, is on 11 science income, 10 cultural income now. Only 6 rocks though, and that felt a bit bad. obviously, to not take all of these yellow cards away from him. Because they kind of fix the low rock amount. He can immediately play this wave and get stronger again. Take Rev ID in hand. Developed territory revealed. Now I'm actually not entirely certain. Did I seed that? I think I seeded all of those colonies, but I'm not 100% certain. I can win it for 8. I think that means just the swordsman. Take the military build up. Urban growth. Rebuild the swordsman. Rebuild the warrior. Get even stronger. And also maybe there's something I would possibly be willing to send a pair for. Not entirely certain. But I think it's just the opportunity cost of getting stronger. I have no information about those events. I think possibly still his strength events possible. So why not? This warrior is kind of cheap for that. pv4 seeds, freedom of movement is revealed. Takes a macaque. It's still pretty important for him. There's also the International Red Cross in the deck, so it's a pretty good timing for that. He can make use of this efficient upgrade immediately if he wants to do it now. Maybe he wants to just take some cards. He does go for 1 upgrade here. And yeah, maybe... Was it on 3 for me? Maybe let's take a look quickly. Is that the correct turn? I think it isn't. Yeah, it is. Can I take that away? Maybe it's too important. But there's also Celebrate here. No, it's here. And taking Macaque for... I mean, 2. Only 2 civil actions. Instead of maybe an Urban Growth or military build-up. Which both are very, very impactful, I think. Possibly. And yeah, if I take that and there's still a Celebrate, I don't know. I don't know. Developed territory happened, and I have this ocean liner. It would be a hate draft, but a hate draft and the Celebrate still here. I agree. Problem is Macaque. I agree, but I'm still a bit uncertain. The problem is, yeah, he does have a bit of food problems. This irrigation is enough to get 1 or more, 2 more guys out. But this Macaque is extremely good for him. For populating and also for this Red Cross. So, looking closer at this, you might really... There's still this selective breeding argument, but selective breeding on top of this is, yeah, way worse than Macaque on top of this. And then you pay a military build-up maybe, which I'm probably not going to use. But he can use it, but maybe also not that great. Yeah, as soon as he gets tanks or military infantry, modern infantry, he can use it very great. He has infinite science. Tough calls here, tough calls. I don't know. What do you think? Macaque, deny. Macaque still not that bad for me also. Although I do have an ocean liner, so I am kind of set up here for I don't really need the Macaque for myself. Also can't afford it for myself, science-wise and rock-wise, I think. Crime Wave is revealed. One of the lower impact strength events. And here I'm on 17 plus 4 science, and I can just go for democracy, which is insanely good. Very good timing. It's a very nice drop. It dropped into the row. He did take a lot of cards. But yeah, not gonna lie, this is keeping me in the game, I would say. Or what means even keeping me in the game? Look at this, it's close. I think he's maybe a bit ahead, but it's unclear. It's unclear, so it's close. I do get here Rev Idea, Multimedia, I have Architecture, Air Force, I have good strength potential, and I have good potential for the civil area as well. Last card is reserves for 3. Yeah. It's serves 2. So I didn't have anything better to do here, and also I'm maybe a bit happy. Possibly for rocks, but also possibly for this red cross. The reserves enable possibly a red cross later on. pv4 seeds reveals a strategic territory, and here I'm able to win it for a pair. I'm willing to pay this pair also because I think the H3 draws are extremely important. I'm also looking for possibly a war in hand, so I can set up for this mobile artillery, and yeah, he doesn't have a tactic for that. He has air forces. His potential to defend is quite decent, even without that tech. But if I can make this cannon work with 2 mobile artilleries plus 2 air forces, then that is obviously a bigger potential than this here. And now I already have here 6 extra strength from strategic territories, and there's military theory possibly. I don't have a lot of science for all of this, but 1 rev idea already in hand, and maybe the second idea is rev idea is already enough for all of this. So yeah, he builds a drama, builds another drama, takes civil service. It's kind of sad to see it. That means he goes to 10 civil actions here. And that is very powerful for the last few turns. He doesn't bother with the space light, which I'm a bit sad to see. Maybe it would be... I think he's very well set up for a decent space light. But there's also Hollywood here, Empire State Building. He's kind of set up for everything here. For every wonder here. And most of all, I'm unhappy to see that Red Cross is not already here. Because it might create a game state where he can just take and build a wonder. And then if the Red Cross is later, he can also take and build that with all of these actions. So I talked about 2 turns now, right? So in 1 turn, take and build Hollywood. And then in the last turn, or penultimate turn, just take and build the Red Cross. With this amount of civil actions, that's all possible. It's very well set up for that. So I reveal I seed, I reveal the vast territory. I sadly don't know what I seeded now. Too many cards here. And this is now a very important impact of the game. So first of all, okay, pv4 wins it with a pair. That means he didn't have a defense card. Me neither, sadly. Not 1 defense card. That's actually a bit unlucky after this strategic territory and many draws here in H3, not 1 colonization card. And I would have loved to win this still. And I didn't now closely look what impact that was, but if we look at the impacts that we do, first of all, no war. It's also a bit annoying because I do think if I did draw a war, I would just go all in on war now. I do have this military built up, and his civil potential is just too good. And I have this one edge that he doesn't have the artillery technology. So I would have an edge here, I think, in that military game. But I don't have a war in hand, so I can't really go all in on that. Or maybe it would still be correct, but I'm maybe also not desperate enough to gamble on still drawing a war now in this draw. This is the penultimate turn, yeah? Penultimate square turn. So next turn will be the penultimate turn. So I only have this 1 draw left. And at this moment, this game state is way too complicated. So I have to make the choice of taking Hollywood. But my Hollywood will not be great. I only have those 4 printing presses, and I think I can realistically only build 1 movies and then Hollywood, and then it's unclear. There's this Chaplin, whether I get him, whether pv4 settles for Einstein, doesn't bother for waiting for Chaplin, but he could also just drop here and then take him, and I would be left with a very underwhelming Hollywood. It would be something like 20 culture or something, maybe 24. And no option to still take the red cross. And pv4 with this civilization would say, okay, I take state building, I have the EG, it's very, it's only costs 1 civil action to build, and then he still builds this red cross. And the red cross is extremely valuable with all those extra colonies. So I don't think I can realistically take one of those here. Next turn might already look different again, then we have some extra information, but here I think I can't take that, and then I also don't want to pv4 to have this Einstein with 24 signs, so I just take it. If I don't go for the Hollywood, those layers are also just not that great. I can take Einstein now and play it for 1 or 2 turns. Not now. Darwin still does more, but then I can decide next turn or just in the last turn elect Einstein and still possibly create some culture with him. And yeah, reserves. I can upgrade multimedia now. I do not have signs in hand, but I have not seen signs, so that is a possibility that if he already has drawn 2 impacts, seeded 2 impacts, so that's one of the impacts he would be very likely willing to seed. So I think going in the route, this is just somewhat efficient here. I have 4 of those. Upgrading this, and with Einstein I'm then able to win a possible signs. And one of the last civil actions is still just taking the EG in hand. And endowments, I don't really have. Yeah, okay. Hard to say. Maybe this engineering is a mistake, and this printing press professional sport is not that unimportant. I haven't seen Impact of Happiness. So taking Pro Sport just for this Impact of Happiness might be the correct call, actually. But maybe I can't go to contest every possible impact here. And I actually at this point still somewhat thought it might be realistic that I still, if I don't build a rock wonder, no Hollywood, no Empire State Building, then I might still be able to build 1 or 2 movies. And then the engineering even helps with that a bit. Also with those upgrades. Yeah. Also, I think I wasn't too keen on taking even 1 more card in hand. What was it that I didn't want? I didn't want to make it too likely maybe for this red cross to drop. Maybe it's just that I hope that it doesn't drop and that I can take it then. So minimizing it a bit. But maybe this Pro Spot was a better call still in the engineering. Yeah, I went for this. We have a lot of impacts in hand, but none of the impacts are very great. He's very well set up for impacts. He has already played 2 and I've played 1 now. Which one was it? I don't quite remember. Maybe, no, architecture, maybe balance? No. It was, oh, I don't remember, sorry. Maybe it was balance after all. Gotcha. Variety. We see here. What was it? I don't remember. Okay, there was some more or less neutral impact, I think. Balance is here, so it's not that. Wait, maybe if I look at this, do I remember something? In this, no. Progress? Maybe progress. Or wonders. Progress, wonders is also possible, right? Something like that. Okay. So the red cross didn't drop, which is good for me, I think. National Pride was still in there. I was glad that he seeded because there are some circumstances where he doesn't seed and then wins this National Pride if he goes for these movies. Chaplin did drop, so can go for movies. Hollywood. Okay, he doesn't need to take Chaplin now, but yeah, like this, he's setting up for a reasonable Hollywood. It's also not that great, but he's also set up to just build this Hollywood and then still take the Red Cross and build some stages, depending on where it is at least in the row, in the last turn. And takes an efficient upgrade here. So, here a kind of sad thing happens. That is that the Red Cross doesn't drop. It's the literally last card in the row, which means I can't take it in hand. Which makes my turn extremely complicated, and I skipped over one part here. It's we still had this economic progress in hand, and I decided to seed it. And not gonna lie, I thought about this turn, I think the last turn also, but I thought about this turn, I think for half an hour at least, a very long time. I tried to find the optimal solution. So we've seen a lot of H3 cards, a lot of impacts. There's not that many left. I think I even noted it somewhere. Possible impacts for him. I find my paper here. Happiness, population, culture, government, agriculture, and progress. Actually, so I didn't see progress. I think it was wonders probably. Agriculture is revealed now. It gives him... It's not that bad because I have this +1 here, so it's +4 or 5 for him. Yeah, now I've lost train of thought a bit, but I made the very tough decision to put in this economic progress. It makes his turn a bit better. It makes his turn a bit better. It makes this Hollywood a bit better. But the plan was, I tried to calculate very carefully here. The plan was that this Hollywood gets a bit better, okay? And calculating that, I did a mistake because I didn't account for Hollywood and extra drama, and the extra drama made it better more than I wished it would. But the plan was to then be able to still take this Red Cross, which he cannot realistically take if he does his turn, and I make sure it stays here and doesn't drop here. He can then not realistically deny it from me, then I will get it. And making sure it stays here means I can only take one card from this row. And then with this economic progress, if I build some food now, which is a bit sad after the fact that Red Cross happened, but if I build food now, I can go for this upgrade, build food income, yeah, right, 3 + 2 is 5, +2 is 7 thanks to economic progress, +8 is 15, right? That's the plan. And I can still take and finish it, and then it's also a very good wonder. Because of those 9 extra culture colonies, that's 9 extra culture, it's a 39 culture wonder. And we see after my turn, I'm a bit ahead. And then I calculated, that's why I listed all those impacts that he might have, that I calculated, probably even with his best impacts, I would still win. So, there's one tiny problem, and that's that I'm an idiot. Maybe some of you already are screaming at me, and I mean, it's not that easy to see, okay? It's not that easy to see. The plan is good. The plan is good. I think it is the winning plan, actually. And I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And maybe there were other plans that were good. I take this urban growth, by the way. So this Hollywood doesn't get even better. So with this urban growth and the economic progress, he had the turn of upgrading this twice, and without the urban growth, no upgrade, just upgrading it once. And it's then a decent Hollywood with the Chaplin, but Yeah, I thought this urban growth would still create a lot of value still for the Hollywood. But what I didn't see is that with the fundamentalism, he can upgrade once, and thanks to the economic progress, also build a drama. Yeah, I don't know why I talk about it before it happens, but it's something that makes this urban growth maybe more or less just bad because it doesn't do that much for me. Maybe not anything, and then I could maybe do other things here. The problem is really I can only take one card because otherwise the red cross is here, and then I think there was a turn where he just finishes the Hollywood and can still take it away, and then I definitely lose. So yeah, in the end, we, by the way, just seeded or at some point seeded an impact of science ourselves because I'm pretty certain that it's in there, and I already know that. Yeah, so we haven't drawn that yet, but at some point we have drawn and seeded it. Okay, so yeah, the plan was great, right? 13 plus, no, it was 11 plus 2. No, we are in the wrong. No, it's correct. Ah, yeah, I've already played the 2 reserves for civil action efficiency. That's why I'm at 13 plus 2, and now the economic progress happens, right? Then I'm at 15 food. And then immediately after the turn was over, I also could have built another one. I also had an iteration where I built an extra food, but then I wanted to be precise and thought, okay, I only need, even the impact of agriculture happened, and okay, I only need this. But the problem is that I'm an idiot. The economic progress happened. I see this, and I think, what? I have increased consumption. I have increased consumption, and now I lack one food. No! You cannot, not gonna lie, I felt very bad when that happened. I still feel very bad about it. Especially after I've actually, in the most games, I don't spend that much time, even when the turns are hard, because I talked about it when I was guest on Weidenbaum's video. You think, and then in the end, it gains you maybe 2 or 3 culture. In most cases, if you do the natural thing, it's kind of close to the optimal thing. And this is one example. And then I thought, and I thought I had the perfect turn, and then this happens. And I think, like, am I an idiot? Evidently, yes. I lack a food, and then okay, the game is over, I would say. So he even had another impact. I kind of hoped, because he also hasn't drawn that many cards in H3, normal draw, but he now has played 4 impacts. I kind of hoped the optimal situation would obviously be that he didn't have another extra impact that he wants to play, and then, or maybe even is afraid of a strength event here. It's also possible, right? That I played a strength event here. I had actually the option of also playing the historic territory. I contemplated that, but I don't have any colonization cards, and he might just have them. And I wasn't certain if I win it. And then I thought that is a risk and unnecessary, and this plan that I had would more or less definitely win. So yeah. Now this is obviously more or less over thanks to this mistake. He goes for, that's what I meant. I thought, okay, he can't, he has not enough rocks to upgrade it once, but he can still go for the fundamentalism and build another theater. And that's also, yeah, for extra culture with this. So it's up to 40 instead of 36. It's also some culture I didn't calculate correctly. Then maybe even my perfect calculations would, in the worst case, not be enough. Here I see I already then was a bit tilted. I seeded the what is it? Harmony, impact of harmony, with a plan of, yeah, still doing as much as I can here and then fixing harmony at least a bit. And then I saw, okay, that's fucking horrible. Impact of science, I seeded that because there's not that many civil actions left after this. And now no way, because the other plan was actually just to also build some religions, maybe to to alleviate a possible impact of happiness, which would be awful. And now I have to improve harmony. Well, on the other hand, it also contests strength. I think, from my perspective, he wasn't desperate enough to seed strength. But so initially, I didn't plan really to contest it, possibly. But yeah, the entire situation is so different. I would have thought about this last turn in more detail if I didn't screw this up. So then it's a bit unclear if I had done something similar to this. But yeah, that happened. We started actually the same amount of culture. I missed out on this one step of the wonder is 15 culture, by the way. 15 culture that I missed out. And maybe that civil action that it doesn't even save a civil action. Maybe I should have also considered not to do this step. Maybe I had another civil action that's worth more than 6 culture. Oh no, it does save a civil action. I have the engineering also. Okay. I just thought it was architecture, so yeah. But no civil action that I did was even close to 15 culture, obviously. It cost me 15 culture here. This miscalculation, and it starts with the happiness 14 to 0. Then we have impact of culture, which he has drawn 10 to 0. Yeah, impact of strength, actually also by him. Kind of greedy to play it, actually. So I'm kind of back 203 to 192, and then harmony is 812. It's not enough. I lose by 7 culture. I am pretty certain my plan was correct. I'm also certain in hindsight there were other plans that could have won. But it was a tough end game. And I did that mistake. And I lose this game. Yeah, it happens. It was still a super interesting game, I think. The power of Eleanor, Suez Canal. And I think I wasn't all too lucky in H3. He did have an insanely good impact draw for himself. He also is very well set up for impacts, so I did have my share of luck to even stay in the game with all those colonies. And also I don't want to talk about luck even too much. It was just a good game, and he deserves the win. And I did that mistake in the end. It happens. What can you do? Still, yeah, happy to share this game with you. Looking at the standings doesn't make too much sense. No, it's just that one more game now, and the other guys aren't finished yet. We kind of blitzed the game. So nothing changed there. We can look at the standings again in the next video. So yeah, thanks for watching. I think this was a very interesting game, and yeah, hands down, who saw what is going to happen with the lack of with that I lacked 1 food before it happened? I would be impressed if some of you were already screaming, so no, you are lacking 1 science before it happened. Maybe if you scream loud enough, it travels to the distance and creates a parallel universe where I don't do that mistake. Maybe if you write it in the comments. Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. It was a nice game. Congratulations to pv4 for winning that one. And see you in the next one.